Hi guys, this is Emma at the Vlog Lady, and I just wanted to do a quick reaction to Pretty Little Liars, the penultimate episode of Pretty Little Liars, Farewell My Lovely. Well, what an episode. It was classic Pretty Little Liars in my opinion. It was the perfect penultimate episode. It really started getting me thinking about who could possibly be AD, and I think I'm about 60% sure that it is Spencer's twin. However, that figure was higher last week, and this week I feel like there are a few more suspects. I think there is definite proof that AD has a team of people. Those people are going to be exposed in the finale as well as AD. The reason I think that this is still Spencer's twin who is running the show is basically I think that there was a switch at some point in the last few episodes. I think this probably took place at the Lost Woods Resort when Spencer went to see Mary Drake. Spencer heard a noise and that was the last we saw in that scene. I think at that moment Spencer did meet her twin and they agreed to some kind of switch. I think that the end of the game in this episode came about because of the fact that the real Spencer had agreed to a switch, and the end of the game came about because she agreed to ride off into the sunset at the end and leave the fake Spencer in her place. Possibly the real Spencer agreed to this because of the fact that it was the only way to save the girls from constant torture. And perhaps this imposter had promised the real Spencer that she would never harm the girls again if she allowed her to take her life. There were a few hints in this episode showing us why Twincer could potentially exist. I think that the moment when Spencer was leaving the room after the game had gone dead, she looked back at the game in a kind of self-satisfied way. I think Spencer took charge as well in regards to Mona. When Mona was breaking down in this episode and everybody else wanted to take Mona to the police, Spencer was pretty keen to not have Mona taken to the police, and they all followed her decision on that. When Mona was at the Two Crows diner, that it was Spencer's twin who arranged for that note to be sent to Mona, because Spencer's twin was there. The reason I say I'm less sure about it being Twincer this episode rather than the past few episodes is because of some weird things that occurred in this episode. Firstly, Arya talking to herself in the car. Now, did anyone else have a vision of like Pig Tunia in the back when she was talking to herself? I seriously thought that was a creepy, weird moment, and Arya seemed like she was out of her tree. I would totally believe it if they went off on an Arya is AD because she is crazy storyline after seeing that scene. It was very horror movie-esque. Another character who was acting weird this episode was Caleb. I thought that the way he stormed in to see Mona at the Two Crows was a little strange. When he was told that they were trying to scout Mona to see who she was meeting, and then he just stormed in and he completely messed that up. So I did wonder for a second if Caleb could be part of AD's team. And when Ezra stormed in this episode and asked the girls why they had ostracized Arya, I thought that he was saying the right thing for a change, and I was completely on board with the accusations that he had against the girls. But it just reminded me that Ezra is a figure of authority and he used to be their teacher, and I just thought, you know what a lot of influence and money this guy has had, and to be in Arya's life and to have that much say over how she lives and what she does, and I don't know, I just think it's slightly more wide open than it was previously in the previous couple of episodes. Yes, I'm still on board with the Spencer twin theory, but I also think there is a possibility of more suspects coming to light. One thing that I did notice was when the game ended, the message from AD was "the eyes have it," which could link back to Jenna. Jenna has to come into this in a big way, I assume, because we haven't seen her lately, and I think that if anyone was a major player in this game, then Jenna will be it. There was also a lot of Hitchcockian references. Vertigo, Rear Window, when we saw Emily's dream of Ali. I love that scene of Ali writing all the names on the board. I thought that was hilarious. I'm wondering if the reference to Dr. Sullivan arriving to treat Mona is going to lead to anything, because I've always liked the idea of Dr. Sullivan having something to do with the bigger story. Going back to the Spencer twin thing, I just thought some of her behaviours were a little off. Again, the way she spoke to Caleb when they went down the hole together and she said, "Don't ever forget me," and she didn't say it in like a heartfelt manner. She said it in like a sexual predator kind of way, and it was sort of a thing about, you know, I'm always going to be the woman behind your marriage, the woman that kind of gave you a good time before you finally settled down with Hannah. I just thought it was inappropriate the way she spoke to Caleb. And I also thought that when she was watching Mary Drake confess, that she seemed surprised. She seemed as if she was resigned to her and her friends going down for this crime, and when Mary Drake took the blame, she seemed to be completely taken out of where she thought she was. And perhaps Mary Drake was not a factor that she was considering. And actually Spencer's twin might have wanted the whole lot of them to be imprisoned together. I don't know what she wanted. I thought that scene was very touching, actually, seeing Mary take that step and trying to protect Spencer and Ali and the rest of the girls. She was willing to give her freedom, her whole life to Spencer, so that Spencer could live. That was a very strange ending, with AD riding off into the sunset in the car with that old music playing. I guess for me it's not that old, but if you're a teenager it may have seemed like archaic music. But I thought it was weird the way they widened that scene out. What does that mean? It was very eerie. I think that we're going to have a big time jump in the next episode, just because that seemed like such a definitive ending. I felt very bad for Mona and her breakdown if it was genuine, and it seemed to be genuine. Her behaviours at the table when she was with Caleb, she had some increasingly developing nervous tics that were signs that she was perhaps losing it. I just thought how sad that she has devolved back into this fearful, bullied girl that she was in high school, because she's stuck in this maelstrom of madness created by this anonymous AD. All she wanted was to help Hannah. I think that is the base of everything Mona does. She always wants to help Hannah because she loves Hannah. So thank you for watching. Next week I'm going to be doing a reaction to the last ever episode. I'm very sad to say that it is the last episode, because I have lived with this show for so long now, and I'm sure many of you have. Anyway, thanks. Bye.